viewers and everything, because I think like anytime that they switch the formats up, it's always great for the viewership. But I think at least for the players, I think it's a lot more difficult. I think it makes it a lot harder for them to like prep. They have to have everything kind of in advance. They have to be ready for every single team, and rather than being like, hey, we're gonna, we kind of know who we're gonna play against next. Now it's like we have no idea. We have to have it ready, and you have very little prep time.
Yeah, doesn't that put more pressure on coaches?
I think it could put more pressure on coaches.
Because they're going to have to look. Surely, they're going to have to look at all 15 teams as equally as each one, rather than preparing, say, for
the coach is going to have to keep those notes very updated because you don't know who you're going to play.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing of a Swiss format. You have 10 minutes to prep for a team. Mm-hmm. These are scary teams, and every single team at this tournament will probably have some individual cheese strat that you also have to prep for.
Right.
So coaches will definitely help into this event.
How do you you've played in these tournaments recently enough? So how do you cope with that level of stress, knowing that these teams have got little pocket strats that they can spring on you at any moment? Are you thinking about that in the back of your head before you go into the game?
I think the most important thing, and it's been in a while in Dota, is your own execution, your own strategy. Kind of lately, at least, I would say, over the last year, kind of trumps what other teams are doing. Of course, you're not going in blind against your opponent and just saying, okay, they can get whatever they want. We don't care. We're good with our stuff. But I would say, honestly, going into matchups, 80% of the game is you, and the last 20% of your prep should be on the opponent. Like, you need to find out what is our style, what is our play, what is important for our drafts. And then if the opposing team has something really key against you, you can ban that out. You will see across matchups that, for example, you could have a team that has been, let's say there's a team that VG.J has been banned against for like 8 games straight, and then suddenly a team will let it through. The reason they're letting it through is not that they think the enemy team can't play it well enough or whatever, but it's like our style doesn't really care that much about VG.J, so we will let that through even though every other team respects it. That to me is the way to go about it. The different thing with this Swiss format compared to, say, round robin that we've had in the past is that the matchups are best of 3s. So if we had a big round robin where everyone was playing each other once in best of 1s, there's more chance of like upsets or, as AUI pointed out, like cheese strategies winning. But this time you need to win out a best of 3 every time you want to win. So you can't just go in and have that one pocket strategy and expect, all right, this is going to be our game, and then we're good to go for our next matchup. So I think that's the big challenge, is how many best of 3s there are. But I'm sure most people are a big fan of best of 3 in Dota in general for that reason, because the cheese factor is limited more. So
it also stops a large slice of the luck coming through, doesn't it? If you have a bad game, and there are several teams in this pool who don't start necessarily particularly fast.
First game of the day.
EG being one of those teams that we talked to PBD about at DAC. They do start slowly on day one. And do you feel there's any teams in here that could benefit from Swiss or actually get hurt by Swiss?
I mean,
do you think the best of 3 saves it? And if it was best of 1 Swiss, then teams
could
like
definitely
get hurt.
When Sin was explaining it too, like with the whole best of 3 thing, when you really think about it, I actually think it could be okay for like a lot of the teams. I think just because you have to, you have to win a full best of 3. There's no way to cheese. You get to learn. You get to develop through the series rather than just take 2 games. So I think it could. I don't know specifically though. I'm not sure. Like maybe the teams that's been playing the most, that's the ones it'll be the ones for the best advantage, and the teams that are playing the least, it'll be the least advantage.
So like, strong teams benefit from this, don't they?
So one thing about Swiss format is you only play 3 other teams. There have been tournaments that have had metas completely dominated by one strategy. You can look at TI5. Everyone copied C-Deck. Being in Group B made you place like 3 spots higher at the end of the tournament. Like we're on EG, like us playing C-Deck helped us win that tournament by far. That was the biggest thing, learning from C-Deck. So when you play Swiss format, if you play the wrong 3 teams, you may not learn as much as a team that, say, got to play like OG and some other teams that they'll take a lot from. That's the one thing I'm worried about with this format.
The one thing?
Well, the other things I'm like more excited for, I know they're sort of like unknown.
Is it different now? You're sitting on this side of the desk and not having to play in the booth. So can you enjoy the tournament more now?
I can enjoy the format more because as a player, I would love to play every team as a player.
Yes.
Because I think that when I get to play more teams, I get to learn more.
Right.
I mean, I guess they get to learn more too, but I hope I get to learn more than.
Does it also come down to fairness as well, though? Does it feel more fair to you as a player when you play all of the teams and then you go through?
I mean, the thing about Swiss format is like matching up against OG is actually like a good thing.
Right.
You get to play what most people, or IG, you get to play.
But it's risk-free. It's a risk-free best of 3 against the best team
in
the
world.
world.
You get to learn the most from them at the start, and it's not like playing them first makes you do worse in the groups. If you were supposed to beat them, you will beat them, I guess. and you'll have to play the better teams.
Yeah. So do you think it's okay for the Brazilians to come in here, having never played at a major, never played at a Valve tournament, the first match they get is a best of 3 against OG? Do you think that's actually good, beneficial for them?
If I was I'd be terrified, but hopefully,
Yeah.
I'd realize that this is the best possible outcome for me, actually. I think that this is the best opponent for them to learn from. It's a bit more standard than IG. I think if they had to play someone from the China region, it would also be like an extra element there. At least they're playing someone from the Western scene, and they can learn a lot from OG.
To answer your question about who this format could hurt a bit, I think a team like you were mentioning EG being slow starters. I think it can be a bit dangerous going into this because if EG historically have a bad day 1, right? I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Let's say you lose the first 2 best of 3s, then in this Swiss format that doesn't go to the end. You can't get more than another 2 wins because we're playing 4 rounds. That
Correct.
means if you lose out on day 1, you can't get top seed anymore. It's not possible.
Yeah.
And what could end up happening is something similar to the last major where EG and Wings played in the first round simply because they had a bad day 1 in the GSL group. And that's something similar that can happen in this, where in a round robin type format, if you have a bad day 1, you lose 3 games, okay, maybe you can come back and win a lot of games in a row and still finish maybe top 3 in your group. That's just not possible if you lose the first 2 best of 3s. So slow starters get punished pretty hard in this format, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that in the CIS qualifiers for Kiev with Navi. We went 0-4 on the first day, came back on the second day and went 5-4.
Yep.
And that actually allowed them to qualify. I don't think under a Swiss system they would have even gone through to finish in top 4. So very different systems, obviously. There's no perfect system. I think that's the key, isn't it? Unless we've got a month. I mean, I'm busy trying to persuade Valve. We should do majors for a whole month. That's what we should really do. 3 weeks of group stage where
geez.
everyone plays each other twice, home and away, best of 5.
Best of 5.
Never go home.
That's the key.
Never go home.
We'll just stay here. It's fine.
Just back-to-back majors.
Yeah, no, it was all good.
It's kind of a crazy idea, isn't it? 3 weeks of seeding into 4-day main event.
See, Cinnarin's on the same wavelength here.
good.
We're
I
clever.
like
We've got this down. Joking aside, though, this is the 5th major. OG have won 3 of them. There is a pattern developing. They win 1, they lose 1. They win 1, they lose 1. They win 1. Therefore, this one they lose.
And then they win
win
TI.
at TI. Is that? I mean, I know I don't want to get too deep on the whole superstition thing, but we've seen patterns like this happen with the whole West wins, China wins, West wins, China wins. It's happened a lot. Why is it that?
Can't cheat the system. we saw it. We saw that.
Yeah,
Few people saw that Reddit
saw the
post too.
thread. Yeah, did you see it?
Guy tries it. He wins 1, loses 1, wins 1, loses. He's like, I'm gonna go unranked. I'm gonna break the system.
Loses unranked.
Loses unranked.
And then comes
loses
back
again
and
anyway.
Loses unranked. Yeah.
Sometimes you just can't. Fate's just there for you.
Yeah. Okay. So OG don't win. So who do then?
I mean, you want to know who I think's gonna win?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I personally put IG.
Yep.
So,
Okay. A lot of people have put IG. Is this just based on the fact that it's DAC and how well they played there?
I think they looked really dominant. They've played the most out of like almost anybody as well on like the recent patches. I think they have a lot of experience, and they've been playing against like all the Chinese teams in DPL. Yeah, just the most practice.
They have an exceptionally high win rate over
Yeah.
the last 2 months, I think, or at least month and a half. It's I can't remember if it's something like 80% win rate.
And
they-
then something
93
ridiculous.
wins, 30 losses.
And they're playing good teams.
Yeah.
They
I
are.
mean, it's one thing to have a high win rate, but they're playing these tier 1 tournaments every time. So if you have that kind of a win rate, it is indicative that you are
Yeah.
performing at a high level.
Honestly, just the sheer amount of games these Chinese teams are playing against other Chinese teams.
Yeah.
I think China's going to do well this tournament.
Yeah,
They're
they-
scary.
They've
Yeah.
been saying it too. Like I was talking to Jack a little bit, just like via text messages, and he was like, "These teams are not underestimating anybody. The Chinese teams are literally coming in here. They're going to go all out."
Yeah, it does seem. I mean, in terms of, we'll go through what they've been playing since 7.0. It's quite interesting, actually. IG Vitality, 131 pro
Yeah.
games since 7.0 was released. IG, 123. They're the second most of any of the teams here. Also have a win record, as Cinnarin pointed out, of 93 wins, 30 defeats.
It's absurd.
Which is really, really good at this kind of. And you say they've been playing it mostly against top teams in China. Other notables: 94 games played by VG.J, 93 by Faceless, 89 from TNC, 72 from Newbie, 61 from Random. And there is not a single Western team in the top 8 most played matches of all the teams here. The highest is Secret, and they've played 55. At the
That's
other end of
such
the
a
scale,
massive disparity.
it is. And Mousesports have played 26 pro games.
And lost.
That's why
15
that
of
is
the
why
26.
they've only played 26, because they played in tournaments where they had a chance of playing a lot of games, but they got knocked out
Knocked
early.
out early. Yeah.
And then they just don't get the same amount of practice.
And they got a free invite to here, so
Yes.
that
Yeah.
made it easier for them because obviously they played less.
But apparently in the West, even if you go super far far in qualifiers, you win Kiev qualifier secret, you've only played not even half as much as the Chinese teams.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's a big difference between playing officials and playing scrims. In officials, everyone's going to be bring out their best strats. They're going to be trying their hardest. In scrims, sometimes you play versus NP and they're running Spectre Lifestealer. Was that no official?
Really?
I think that was an official.
That was an official.
That was an official. You were lifestealer though.
Yeah. That was not fun.
NP do their
you.
best strats.
It
in
was
scrims.
Actually, I had some fun.
It was clever.
You hop in the Spectre, you go, woo! You hope for the best, but, in most teams, that's just in scrims.
Yeah.
So, officials help you learn faster.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Okay. We're hearing that the draft might be loading, so hold on to your chairs and we'll get into our first game very shortly. Thank you for your patience. We're just catching up with a bit of Dota chat while we wait for the draft to load. In terms of, let's get back to heroes.
Yes.
And talk about heroes that have good and bad since 7.0. What have you enjoyed watching?
Since 7.0 or
Yeah.
just, I mean, I wanted to go more along like what heroes that we think that we're going to like see the new up and coming ones coming into this tournament.
Okay.
That's the one thing that I wanted to at least touch on,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
No, let's do it.
I mean, I've been trying to sell it for a while. I had talked to Jack about
I hear
it
this coming.
You
If
know
I-
it's already
if
what's
I-
coming.
If I hear this,
I have an
hear this
ally
coming out of your
this time
mouth.
around.
You
But
have an ally now as
yeah,
well?
I'll just say it before we look at the draft.
come-
And it's
don't go
Pugna.
down the
And it's
Pugna
Pugna.
road.
It's Pugna. I'm
You-
hoping
you've
for
almost, You're almost there. Pudge.
No.
Pudge. You're almost there. Pudge.
Pugna.
Pudge.
Pugna is an
Legit.
amazing hero.
Legit hero.
No, look, Pudge lost 5 movement speed. Pugna gained 5 movement speed.
Yeah.
That's that. There's no more argument to be had. Pugna is a better hero. That's it.
Hey,
It's movement speed.
If Pugna gained 1 armor, he would be
if-
first pick.
If
Yeah.
Pudge has boots, he's slower than Pugna. Without boots,
Yeah.
I think actually.
Is-
Pudge
I think
is
it's about the
285,
same.
right?
It's
Isn't
GG.
the same?
Yeah.
Is GG?
Like, how
What
do
can
you
you
win?
do?
Okay, so Pugna is the hero then.
Yep.
Sold.
I've been a Pugna fan for a long time though. I really hope
have
we get
you?
to see it.
To
I
be
think it's
To be
cool.
fair though,
It's
like
cool
me and
hero.
Falk are on Dignitas together, and we've been saying Pugna since then. So
Yeah.
it's been a long
You
time
guys
coming.
are the Pugna allies now. You're
Right,
Pugna
even
boys.
before Dignitas, on pot and bottom, we would have way too and go Pugna.
Oh God! No, you reminded
Okay,
me.
if you guys ever find yourselves both teamless at the same time, you must form a new team around both of you and call it Pugna Boys. Simple
Pugna
as that.
boys.
Right, let's get
Here
into
we
the
go.
draft and get away from this silliness. Secret versus VG.J. Opening draft of the group stages here at the Kiev Major. Nothing crazy so far. The Abaddon for Secret, presumably offlane, and the Crystal Maiden for VG.J.
My predictions look good.
Yeah.
Crystal Maiden.
I like Crystal Maiden. She makes
Yeah.
her draft super open. You can play fast. You can go aggro. You can go defensive. She makes dual lane, offlane super easy.
Yep.
You can actually do anything with this hero.
And we really saw it rise through DAC. It didn't
Yeah.
start off that way, did it? But towards the end, suddenly it was
Yeah.
like almost a
I
must
love
pick.
that hero. She
Yeah.
her
Mid one is
spells-
ready. He's ready to go. That was like the biggest yawn I've ever seen.
CM's
Yeah.
spells are way too good, honestly.
Yeah, they're really good, and the way that people were pairing it, like with at least in DAC, we saw it with the Monkey King pairing, almost like majority of the times, and then also with the Lina. So you have that like massive burst, you have D push, you just have everybody benefits from Arcane Aura. It's
Your
just
team fight's
incredibly
way
good.
too good with Monkey King CM.
Yeah.
You have 2 supports, and sometimes they can 2v5 the enemy team. It's just ridiculous.
What's interesting about the opening bans as well is VG.J have given a bit of respect to Kezu.
The Enigma ban?
Hmm.
I think Team Secret are one of the best teams in the world at playing around the hero. It's not
Yeah.
just individually that Kezu is a great Enigma player for sure, but it's just the play style of the team, this hard 5-man group up and team fight style
doesn't-
that they
Yeah,
use
he
for it.
doesn't even like use the black hole too often either.
No,
like
no.
in the games that they play, he's just this walking mech pipe carrier,
Much
just
to
like running at
Melini's
them.
annoyance, it has to be said. Much to Ben's annoyance.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, the Bounty Hunter.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They were doing this during Kiev qualifiers,
were.
and I mean it's Puppy and Pie.
Yep.
This is one of their favorites.
This is as an opening, this is a bit unusual that you start with 2 heroes that have 0 stuns or silences. Like
Yeah.
this is a very limited draft opening because Secret are kind of putting themselves in a position now where their follow-up heroes need to have some sort of catch or lockdown to enable the other 2. Whereas I think VG.J's opening is just way more open-ended to me, which generally doesn't happen. The second pick team, which Team Secret is in this case, you generally go for a little bit of more of an open-ended start because you don't know what you're going to get counterpicked with in the first pick.
I think this actually tells us that Team Secret has a strategy planned.
Yeah.
What they're going to do is they're going to take 4 heroes that work very well together, that are pre-planned, and they're going to try to counterpick with their mid. because they had the last pick.
They did use a lot of time on picking this bounty, though. It
That
took
is
them
true.
1 minute of extra time already, so didn't seem fully convinced, I guess.
I'm not sure. Usually what
they
happens...
shouldn't be surprised by first pick CM, I guess.
No, they shouldn't. What usually happens is like, at second pick, you have like, you sort of know what the other team's going to first pick, usually. And you list out like, 4 to 6 heroes that you think you're going to want to first to. And usually those things will cover things in your draft that you're going to want. So in this game, apparently they want some lane pressure and some movement on the map. The Omni is sort of interesting because teams are actually first banning this hero against VG.J in China. So this is a hero that's not really seen in the West. I mean, the West doesn't have many games, but that hero is very scary.
I think it's also, maybe in this game it's difficult to run that way, but it's always nice to have picks early on in the draft that can fulfill multiple roles. Omni Knight can be played as a support. We mostly see it off lane nowadays, but I think in some cases you can... it doesn't really need much apart from levels in a support role, so it can be even played as a hard 5, I would say, in some cases. I think for VG.J now it wasn't that difficult of a pick. I think the hero in general is great against melee heroes because it makes it easier to use Purification with high impact in the fights, and Team Secret's opening is kind of playing, in my opinion, straight into the hand that VG.J want with their Omni Knight, namely that the opposing team, the 5-man of Secret already doesn't look that good. Yeah. Both Abaddon and Bounty Hunter aren't necessarily the best.
Dominate's pick's also nice because there aren't that many heroes who can straight up 1v1 Abaddon and crush him, but Omnight's definitely one of them.
Yeah. Good matchup, for sure.
You can also, you can purge a track, which is always nice.
Yeah.
And if you cannot team fight into them with a Bounty Hunter, it becomes a lot harder to get that track code going.
I think it's Bounty Hunter. Generally, his biggest weakness as a hero is if the rest of your lineup cannot execute team fights, the hero just falls off. So extremely hard past minute 10. So again, that's what I really think Secret needs to solve here, is that it's very clear that VG.J at some point will be coming at them with a 5-man with this Omni Knight and will start pushing towers. And if Secret can't respond or split push fast enough, they'll just lose their base and not be able to fight back at all.
And usually it's Kezu playing their big team fighter, and they already picked the Abaddon for him.
Yeah. Maybe it's a carry Abaddon.
Could be.
Do you think that's viable?
Carry Abaddon?
I like carry Abaddon.
I've seen it run a few times.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good this patch, actually.
I think you generally only pick carry Abaddon when you sort of like debate them with the offlane Abaddon. They pick some things good against it, and then they're going to go aggro, put a 1v1, and you're like, nope, this is my real offlane. That's when it really shines.
So they do go for the Wisp as well. So they're getting
Okay.
this is comfort for Secret, full comfort.
Yeah.
I think the idea now for Secret is to get a... Yeah, okay. I was actually even thinking Ember for Secret now, because you want mid 1 to have a hero that can play super aggressive and take a lot of advantage from having both the tether and the aphotic shield and just go in and kill stuff.
This is...
I think Secret have to win lanes right now.
yeah, they have no team
absolutely.
fight.
Their
They
team
have
fight
to
is...
It's like nothing.
You
really.
cannot run into the CM Omni Knight.
There's no team fight. They don't have real catch for Ember now either. So this Ember pick, he's going to be able to have like free split push if he gets to that point. This is actually like they played this exact opening VG.J the other day from DPL, and you know what other hero they had inside this lineup? Pugna.
Was it Pugna?
It was Pugna.
That's hype.
But they did pick like I think there was the Juggernaut or the Terrorblade. It was the Juggernaut. They picked 4th pick previously, so Secret actually bans on out. So at least removing a little bit of their pushing potential from that. And they go for mid 1's Shadow Fiend.
I like this choice.
It's good.
I think when you say Ember Spirit, you have to say, I can destroy this guy in lane.
Yeah.
With Shadow Fiend, easily one of the strongest lanes. Ember, the weakness of Ember really is that it's not that he's so bad 1v1, he's not great, but it's the fact that if you try to dual lane with your Ember, he's awful. He has 1 armor, he doesn't add anything, he has maybe a 1-second chain that maybe hits, shield gets purged instantly, whereas you have a dual lane with a Shadow Fiend, they're going to right-click you.
It's the way it looked for Secret after those first 3 picks. There were really, in a way, only 2 options left. Like either they have extreme dominance early on, or they play hardcore split push. I don't think team fighting was an option anymore. But if you have a hero like Shadow Fiend that can snowball really hard, and you back him up with both the IO and the Abaddon, he can actually get to a point where this fighting is possible for Secret. And what they want to do is they want to be the ones that play the faster game. So they come online at maybe minute 15, and sure, you don't have any disables, but you put so much pressure that the enemy team has to fight into you, and then you don't need to catch them.
That sounds like a solid game plan with this SF.
Yeah.
Mid 1, I actually really like his SF. He did this build, I call it the mid 1 build, but he just went Treads Aquila, Dragonlance, straight Butterfly. And I've never seen a Shadow Fiend look that scary before. I looked at him like, this is the build. And honestly, he's geared towards that. He has 3 heroes that buff him right now.
Yep.
They're pretty all in on the Shadow Fiend, which isn't a bad thing this game either.
Hard for them to really get like onto him, just like, take him out.
If he gets to Butterfly BKB, they have no damage from him too. So
they
I
need a
think,
physical core.
yeah, VG needs to look for some outspam or something that can sort of lock down the Shadow Fiend, contest him in the mid game, because that's what Secret's draft is, right?
This pick really caught them off guard. They've used a good minute and a half now, I think, on figuring out what they want to do. The Ember pick was instant, and this was not what they were expecting.
I think the thing is the Ember pick was more of a block pick.
I mean,
he's a good pick with their lineup, but they saw those 3 heroes in Secret, like, they cannot get Ember.
Yeah.
Ember's too perfect for them. But honestly, I like Shadow Fiend more. Luna.
Okay,
Physical damage core, push actual tower, like a objective taker.
An aggressive Luna.
It's I think Luna in this game is really nice simply because Secret don't have any significant burst. They can't really kill her very quickly. The only high damage ability they have right now is Requiem, unless you had like a 3-raise combo, but that's not very likely. And she even has Repel backing her up. It's a hero that, given a good lane in the start, can come online fairly early and fight, and that is what it's going to come down to. It's, can you just run in and man fight Secret and bring down their heroes through all of this defensive heal and sustain that they have. And Luna has a lot of spread damage, so could work. I think it's a pretty good choice.
The other thing that Luna lets them do is go aggro this game. You see the 2 supports in Secret,
do that for sure.
pretty low damage.
That's true.
Go aggro with this aura, the CM bite. You have a very high damage aggro, honestly. And you already have the good matchup in your off lane.
Yep, I like that. It's a good way of alleviating pressure from your Ember mid as well. If it's an IO Shadow Fiend mid and you can pressure the enemy safe lane so hard and take their tower at around the maybe even the 6-minute mark, if you're facing this kind of a lineup from Secret, Secret will have to either rotate down there and leave their mid lane a bit more open, or they just lose their tower, and then Luna will just rotate to her own safe lane and take the tower there, and they'll get the ball rolling maybe even before Shadow Fiend can.
Secret has a last pick, but I expect them to pick something that's I like to call them dead laners, heroes that cannot be messed around with in your safe lane. If they pick a dead laner, then they can move their supports to mid. It's very hard to move to mid if your safe lane's just getting hit and pressured, and he feels bad, and MP will like, help, and we can't. So
Chaos.
Whoa.
Wisp CK.
ooh.
Okay, I don't know how much I like the CK pick here.
It's a very interesting draft.
It's
I'm going to
maybe
give
the
you the
lane's good enough.
opportunity. We don't normally do this. Normally at Majors we make you do the predictions before the draft, but we'll do it per game, and we'll do it after the draft. So we're going to start with Synderen.
I like VG.J.
You like VG.J?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
I think their lineup is more well-rounded and
More meta?
not necessarily more meta as such. It's just when I see these two lineups, if you think of ease of execution, I think Secret's lineup is harder to play and needs a specific subset of things to happen. If they execute it perfectly, they will look amazing. If they have just a couple of hiccups, I think they're going to be run over in the mid game. So starting out with a lot of confidence, I guess. That's not an easy lineup to play.
VG.J for Synderen, Ari?
I'd take VGJ as well. I think Secret's lineup sort of needs to play fast, but it's really hard to play quickly against a CM when they have this aura giving you extra spells. They have better lane push. I mean, the West sort of mitigates that, but I like VGJ's draft more so.
Vogt?
I also like
It's
VGs
3 out of
to be
3.
honest. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that Secrets is very lane prominent. They need to do really well on the lanes, and I think the Luna pick was really good to at least like Curtis made the point of attempting maybe if they go for an aggro thing, just having that type of strong lane and putting the pressure.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. All 3 of our panel members have made their predictions. I'm sure you've made your predictions on social media as well. They've all gone for VG.J here. Let's head into opening game of the Kiev Major with the commentary team. Toby 1, it's all yours.
An insanely China-biased panel, Ben. No one believes in Secret. No one believes in the highest MMR player in the game today.
No one's even seen Secret, really.
No.
Hold on, my predictions are here.
Really?
Hold
Is that
on.
actually what you have to stop and do? No.
I always do those.
You do.
Gotta get those battle
You did
points,
this at
man.
TI. You actually did that during the main stage of TI.
People care, Toby.
People care
People
to
care.
help people inside the game. You have your little predictions to go. Do we want to do that? No,
Am I with Secret or VG.J here? I'm not actually sure. It's a toss-up. I'm not sure how good they are with the Omni Knight. It's a hero that I did not expect to see first phase in our first game.
Well, Fog was talking about the fact they actually ran a very similar draft, and then the Juggernaut got banned out in the second phase, which was part of it. It was the Juggernaut and the Pugna, and they go a different avenue. They go in with this VS plus the Luna instead. So it will be interesting to see how it all comes together for VG.J. But the panel was going with them, and you do ask the question, like, how's CK meant to work with the lineup? Like, the lanes look good, but going into the mid game, isn't Luna and the Ember Spirit going to have a lot better time against the CK?
Yes, but the Ember Spirit needs farm, and that's where the Wisp plus SF comes in. And Luna, it's gonna be tough for the CK to do stuff. Wisp makes a lot of things possible. Hold on, I have 13 seconds. Player with the most kills. Oh. Okay. What are you doing, Toby? Why are you so quiet? Are you doing yours too after criticizing me?
Hey, you're the one that was meant to be saying something really intelligent just then. Obviously not. Yeah, I also did mine as well.
Thank you.
We'll see if I fail.
I had VG.J, Puppy, Freeze, and Puppy.
VG.J, mid 1, ROTK, and Puppy.
Okay.
I rushed my middle too, I'm not going to lie. But congratulations if anyone
they're
else.
switching up lanes over here. So Fenrir and Aggressive decided that they don't want any of that bottom lane because they know that it's an ABBA. So we see a lot of dodging going on.
But the rotation's been watched, and Puppy's already waiting for the courier too. Thanks to the observer wards they've got, they're going to see that exact path of the courier, but the pings just came out too. Puppy cut a tree in vision. So they know what's going on. And that courier's gone the very long way home.
Ooh, yeah, the very, very long way.
Yeah, it's the safety. You know the bounty hunter is on the prowl. Puppy. There's a reason why he picked up this hero within the first two. He loves his bounty hunter, and he is renowned for it too. So Freeze, he has to deal with the early pressure. But so now you're running this top lane, this IO plus CK. Actually, they're TPing up as well. Okay, so FY and Fenrir are running here. Aggressive takes the initial stun on the top. Now it's actually MP. They turn it around onto him on the run through the tree lanes. A fairy fire consumed by Paladai, giving him the extra life. And this will actually allow him to survive. So no kill on the top lane, and it is a very difficult lane to murder.
CK is just really, really tanky. 4 armor, and he has the Wisp back him up, and a Stout Shield, and a Strength Hero. They actually don't need the Wisp mid, though, which is really, really good for mid one.
RTK takes so much after he has already his Purification. With a degen aura, it's a little bit more difficult for KZoo and MP just to track him down. But he'll already have to move back and trigger the Shrine 2 minutes in.
I thought he was going to go for the kill.
It looked like they had enough damage for it, but nope. So lane rotation, KZoo's going to TP himself up towards top lane. Try and get that matchup that they want again.
They really want the CK to be fed, though, which I think is the right call.
Mid one, that's troublesome. In behind the tower, Freeze diving in deep. The Flame Guard's enough of a burn to get the kill. Freeze will end up going down. Paladai was in the neighborhood, so able to just leech a little bit.
And he spent all his unreliable gold. Nice efficiency there. Bought his boost and his TP scroll right before.
Doesn't miss out much. In fact, he doesn't miss a single last hit in the mid lane.
Puppy's still hunting for that courier, but with him dying, he actually does not need to send the courier mid, so that's an extra benefit of him dying. Puppy's just trying to steal bounties, and they know where he is right now, and he is still level 1. Poor guy. Yeah, so I think there's 2 varying philosophies for the CK. Like, you can either keep both carries like underfarmed in like perhaps a try-on-try situation where you're not really going to get that much, but I think Luna's much better without items because you have Eclipse and you have Lunar Blessing, both of which are not really that item dependent, whereas CK, if you're weak, you're just going to get cleaved down by the Glaives. Like, even one Purification could just kill all of your images. So I think you really need to armor it up on the Chaos Knight or whatever strength items ASAP. And eventually a Diffusal Blade is really good at killing the Ember Spirit and just locking down the Luna. Purging off Guardian Angel is also going to be incredibly important for them. They don't actually have that much magic damage.
You're still talking about like a lot of money coming out there.
Yeah.
So what happens when VG.J just group up? When RTK has the farm he wants on that Omni Knight?
Well, that's the thing about Wisp too. You can split push very, very effectively, and I think they are going to need to do that. Because
more trouble on mid lane for mid one. All that MML doesn't count for much when Freeze just able to Searing Chains you and lock you in. Now that's going to be his bottle sub 4 minutes. His CS hasn't been terrific. Like, it's 22-11 against a 13-1, so Freeze has not been coming out on top as far as that CS goes in the mid. But with the kills going his way, he sits higher up on the net worth.
And Paladai hasn't actually been able to move too much from the lanes. He didn't start off with the Iron Talon like we do see him so commonly because they wanted to pressure the lanes a little bit. But as a side result, Bounty Hunter not doing anything and Paladai not being in the mid lane, SF's just been all alone. And we expected this matchup to be not that great for Freeze, but first blood, not as much CS, but second kill too.
Is there a way to stem the bleeding? Like, do you switch the lanes up and put more like the IOCK in mid and let the SF go to bottom lane?
I think you just stack for him.
That's
Wisp
it.
is really
You just
good
play
at
the
stacking.
catch-up game with him.
That's generally what you do with SF. You just stack, get him a few camps with level 3 or level 4 raid, and then just group up with
Freeze, careful. Oh, wow, really careful mid-1.
Okay, that's how you catch back up.
Level 2 raise, and what attack. And the Ember Spirit caught napping in the mid.
That was so greedy. Like, maybe he was waiting for his bottle on chicken, but even that's not super safe because there's a bounty hunter in the game. He's not that close to level 6.
Speaking of the bounty hunter, you're going to go to bottom lane where RTK is being initiated on Puppy with a slow. Orb of Venom plus Janata. They need extra slowdown RTK, but they just don't have it, but they do force the TP out from FY.
Wow, Omni Knight's actually going for the phase boost build too. Omni Knight wants to get in there. They just want to be able to bum rush their heroes. They know that they don't really have a good way to deal with the GA early in the game.
That's actually what he did last time he built this. He went phase Midas and then with the pipe Shivas.
That's
Was
one
the
of the
build he
benefits
did.
of having the CM too. You don't need to go for the arcanes. Like, he's very mana intensive as an Omni Knight, and you want to have that sustain so you can farm up camps and just sustain a push. But with CM on your team, it's just so much easier to get away with heroes that aren't commonly picked.
So right now up on this top lane, are you actually happy with this? With Abaddon, KZU's able to get in a lot closer, get a lot more farm?
You say a lot more farm. He has 12 CS.
He's getting there compared to what he had before.
Yeah,
He's got one third of that in just the last minute.
he's been forced to TP a lot and just run around. He's very low on their priority list of farm.
That Radiant Observer was still able to scat out a lot, including FY's rotation up to the top lane. Freeze going in deep under the tier 1 tower. TP support's coming in. This is a level 6 Ember Spirit. But then again, does he actually have enough to get out of here? Blocked by the Spirit, taking way too much damage from the tower. So if the Spirit jump up, will get him back into the river, and Puppy unable to close the distance.
Freeze will not be blessed with the rune.
Oh, top lane, KZU. The ulti, the Eclipse, the creep wave. It tanked up I think it tanked up every single beam. Aggressive, just can't find the luck against the Abaddon.
Yeah, he would have needed 2 hits. He's only level 6, so level 3 beam wasn't going to be enough.
MP bottom lane, Frostbite's there. It was an Omni Knight just invis jumping through the rear, takes the damage from the Purification, and it will be enough with the Degen Aura for him to die. Can't make it to the stack to deny himself. At the same time, Puppy ends up getting picked off next to the Bounty Rune inside the Dire Jungle.
Bounty Hunter is level 2.5. That is so sad. Looking at his experience right now. He doesn't even have TP up cooldown, so he has to. That's the walk of shame.
He's going to have to leech. He'll have to actually leech when the SF does his
Yeah,
flash farming.
that's definitely what he needs to do, because there's just not really many avenues for him to get back. They don't have enough disables to kill the Ember. Luna's pretty well fortified in her safe lane, and Omni Knight's a very difficult kill, especially when the supports are constantly sitting behind them with sentry wards to protect. So they always have to live in fear. Are the supports sitting behind RTK? Probably, but they don't know for sure most of the time.
Puppy's trying to just inch his way up, but yeah, he's not certain where that sentry ward is.
Yeah.
Like, we can see it, whereas a little bit further down the lane, so Puppy can go up that way. So he puts down an Observe Ward just to get his own vision.
And ROTK doesn't even need to skill up Repel. He's in a good spot. Ember Spirit, despite his early death.
This feels like bait. RTK inches forward with a creep wave around him. Wants MP to actually rift him. And in fact, that's actually what they're going to do. The stun and rift. Fenrir is there to help out. Now they can try and turn this with a Purification plus Frostbite. MP takes a lot of damage. Puppy moves in as well, but they don't have enough for the kill, but is setting up for the rotation. FY and Freeze, they're already down the bottom lane. They'll see Puppy moving over towards the left, but they're focusing on the big one. They're focusing on MP, so the Magic Missile stun, 2 Spirit committal. Chaos Knight will drop, and Pylai quickly TPs himself away to safety and away from the gank of VG. And this will now probably be the tier 1 tower on bottom.
VG.J just need to group up because Secret's so weak right now. Bounty Hunter offers nothing. CK has no items, and SF struggled a little bit in the mid lane, but he is going to get some good space to farm right now. And ROTK is going very greedy. 3 in Degen. Screw Repel, screw GA. That's a super offensive build.
Just like ask him to come at him. RTK is going to TP towards the mid just to stop mid one from pressuring that too much. They've already got the bottom tower in the bag, unless Puppey wants to attempt a denial.
No way.
But that would be very, very dangerous.
His life isn't worth that much, but it's not worth that little right now. He's not like a melee creep status yet.
So you take the tier 1 tower. Team Secret trying to get something in return, and aggressive is probably the best target they had. VG.J showed a lot of players on bottom lane, so they're cutting through. They're trying to find aggressive in that small little nook to the south of the tier 1 tower, and they know it.
He's very tanky though. Luna level 8, usually don't think of him as that tanky, but with stick and strain treads and raindrop, he is not easy to kill.
He drags the creep wave up, and now, in fact, Team Secret have to take more damage, and they're going to be concerned too. VG.J should have TPs available. So you don't want to get way too aggressive, and in fact, now, with Omni Knight up in the top lane, our TK arrives. There is no fight to be had here.
How does CK jump into this lineup? Like, he has to be deathly afraid of reality rifting. And even his ulti isn't going to stay alive. Kezu walks into aggressive.
FY's got to run out of here. It was underneath the sentry ward. But yep, RTK, he's just going to keep going at him. Doesn't matter if Kezu wants to run into this. He's still holding that extra point, so if he wants his borrowed time, he can get it.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen too many people hold that skill point.
Oh, Kezu, that burst damage. There goes the ulti. But they just waited out. Pylai Die jumps in. Now the Eclipse aggressive. Explodes the IO. Kezu still dying in the tree lines. If he can just stay in range. RTK, the damage isn't enough from mid one. He got stunned up by the Lucifer Beam and couldn't finish the job. Kezu on 55 HP moves down to the tree lines and RTK gets caught out. Mid one will find the kill. Meanwhile, down on bottom lane, the stun was holding Freeze away from MP. And now they're the ones on the retreat. Pilot Eye comes over at MP. Reality Rift plus Chaos Bolt is available. But they hesitated with the initiation onto the Ember Spirits. They just let him go.
Not sure if ROTK thought he could get away with that with the build that he had. Normally in that position you can like repel GA TP and there's no way for them to stop him. But he doesn't have the luxury of that to him yet. Veil on Ember, pretty common, but he definitely needs the armor. You're going to be taking a lot of physical from CK, especially with the Reality Rift and President of the Dark Lord, so they need Aquila, Vlad's, Medallion, everything.
Well, this game could go for a while then. Mid one's going to take out that top tower, top net worth by far, but the relocate Pilot Eyes come in with MP. They want RTK, but while the repel's up, they can't do much. It'll come down. Purification, Fenrir gets the slow and aggressive. He wants something, but Pilot Eye in 2 seconds' time will take MP back to safety. So is Kezu as well as mid one on the run, but look who's coming up again. Fenrir, FY as well as Freeze in through the south. Spirit jump forward. He'll be able to searing chains over on both. Nope, mid one, Frostbitten up. Still got the ulti off and Freeze taking too much damage. They need to kill up mid one with a sleight of fist. He'll actually die to the end ultimate, giving mid one a double kill, but Kezu stands his ground.
Wow, he was holding his chains for whatever reason. VG.J, they all expected him to cancel the Requiem cast with the chains, and they probably could have killed him before the cast, but he let it go off, and then he took a 1.5 Requiem to the face and just got slaughtered. He didn't need a pop stick. Maybe he didn't have enough mana at that exact moment or something. It might be one of those moments where you're like, oh, I have enough mana, and then you press it, you're like, oh, wait, no, out of mana, and then you have to stick, and then you have to press it again, but at that time it might have been too late. So, yeah, that was, it's quite the blunder for them. That's rough.
Yeah, not the 5 VG.J were wanting, and this is now leveling it up. 7-7 on the board. Team Secret with these couple of engagements actually start getting an advantage in the net worth. They've actually switched it around by almost 5,000 at this point. Same with the experience. They're leading for the first time.
Yeah, and mid one's definitely going to be the king of this game for some time to come. He's very ahead in net worth, and he's going for the BKB rush. I think the BKB is really good here because their team fight is just horrendous compared to VG.J right now.
Pilot Die is dying to RTK. He has to tether TP out before RTK can do enough damage to solo kill him. With the phase boost, there's no way for I to outrun him.
Yeah, Aura's VG.J trying to double down on their team fight presence, but they don't really have a good way to deal with the BKB Shadow Fiend at all. And compound that with the Wisp being able to maybe even prevent him from having to pop his BKB really early on in the fight, it's not looking as good for VG.J as it once was. Their team fight was going to be really, really strong, but SF, he can just right-click people down, as we've seen in the fights.
Maybe that's the reason, too, why we see RTK changing up his Omni Knight build, going in for the earlier drums. You're going to get the Blink Dagger plus Veil control coming in from the Ember.
Normally, at this point, they would have grouped up and pushed down T1s. They grouped up, pushed T1 bottom with a smoke, and now they aren't even really close to approaching the T1s at all. And you don't want to split up versus a Bounty Hunter, and especially a Bounty Hunter with a Wisp. So anyone that's just off alone is just going to get relocated on
Like this. Top lane, FY. The 3-second stun, it's overkill. FY will die.
And they're lucky that there's not a Bounty Hunter there, or they would have just given up like 200 more gold at that point. So now they realize, okay, we need to
Instead,
group up.
Puppey is actually sniping couriers if he can almost get enough damage in. That had the Drums of Endurance on it. That actually has ROTK's item. And Spirit now having to jump himself away from mid 1 and Keizu.
They're trying to group up mid, but they don't have a T1 tower there. They want to push here, but
they got aggressive
not
ulti.
really happening.
Like they got a solo SF with Eclipse available, and they just don't want to do it.
Mid one's just really good at imposing his presence, though. Like, he could be farming neutrals, he could be farming ancients, but he's preventing this push by just standing super far ahead. He's also been able to allow Secret to get these really nice observer wards on the map. Look at that trifecta of wards. It's covering with the majority of the map that VG.J want to go to. Every time they want to group up for a push, they're probably going to have to use a smoke. And if they split up, boom, relocate, someone else is dead. So VG.J's options are really limited right now. It was supposed to be good for them. They were supposed to continue to take down the T1s and group up, but it's actually Secret that are just playing really well around the SF.
It looked like they were, like, for the last 30 seconds, VG.J be moving around that sentry ward. Like, they want to smoke. But they can't even do that. Like, they picked one up, and now I think they're realizing with the tier 2 tower being dropped on the top lane by Team Secret, they have to go for a straight trade-off.
It's because they're not confident they can win a team fight right now.
Here comes the SF, so they may have no choice. Fortifications up. If they want this tower, they have to take the team fight.
Yeah, they could easily get relocated from behind, and their supports would get slaughtered, and there's just no chance. GA still not up for Omni Knight, so maybe with that they could take one.
Oh, Puppey just hit the perfect sentry ward. He just got both of the obs wards. VG.J kind of messed up a little bit. They put 2 obs wards almost on top of each other, and Puppey's 1 sentry ward was able to claim both of them.
And that will be an easy Roshan.
This'll come in handy.
Yeah, Team Secret will get that one. Puppey may even have a little bit more to say against RTK. They're not going to rotate out for him straight away.
Okay, SF is just...
He's a beast.
Yeah, he's really difficult to deal with right now.
Full BKB, Dragon Lance is up, another 1,000 gold is sitting in the bank account.
I didn't expect him to have this good of a game, though, when the Wisp wasn't there with him. But those couple of mid-game plays really propelled him to the position where he can just dominate everyone.
You do also ask the question, like, how much did that fight up on top lane hurt them? Like, it wasn't just the fact that SF was able to pick up the 2 kills. Obviously, that's a big part of it. But then the space for Chaos Knight. Armlet is up. MP working his way towards having the BKB. Space was created with that one failed fight. The VG.J just couldn't, like, win and then add more pressure. Restrict the movement of Team Secret. Now with Veil, they try and burn him down. Mid one's here. Puppey. Oh, Spirit jump back. He's going to be able to do it in a long way away. Causing rotations from Team Secret. Freeze. Just trying to distract them more than anything else.
They actually don't have enough armor on Dire side. The only armor item they have is Veil right now. They don't even have an Aquila. I thought they were going to build Aquila and then maybe a medallion on the Vengeful Spirit, but they have an urn on the Ven, but they haven't gotten a kill in ages. They got like, what, 1 kill in the last 10 minutes or so?
Yep.
So, this physical damage is quite staggering. You need your heroes to be tanky so you can play around it with Omni Knight. You know, you want to Purification first. When people get low, then you throw out your Repel GA combo, and then your second round of Purification will
Do
be
you
up.
want this aggressive? He's brought the tower within deny range now, so he does take it. Keizu going to rotate in, but here comes the Eclipse with the relocate. It's difficult to get away. The Guardian Angel taking up so much of this damage, so they will survive to kill off Pylai Die. RTK, not enough life to actually give back to aggressive, or is it? It will be enough with a Frostbite creating space. There's a 4-second stun on the Crystal Maiden, and she's dying to Phantasm. Fenrir can stick up quickly. Nova, he's got a Frostbite available too, and they'll trigger the Shrine. So Fenrir will survive. Io will fall. They claim the Tier 1 tower. So a good engagement for VG.J overall.
He didn't get the armlet toggle on the illusions. Like, the illusions don't have the the armlet buff on them. I think they might have been able to kill the Crystal Maiden just with the armlet buff on the illusions alone without his hero committing. But it was pretty nice kiting by VG.J. They didn't end up with a Luna death, which I think would have been incredibly painful for them at this point in time. But finally, they get that tower.
Yep. And with the death of the tower, the fact that Luna survives, the painfulness you're talking about is the fact that Luna could have been delayed on her Manta style. That's the dodge she's looking for to stop the Chaos Knight from being the big controller.
Yep. And looks like mid one is actually building into a Bloodthorn next. So BKB Bloodthorn, I don't know if he's actually going to commit for it, but maybe he thinks, okay, they're actually not focusing me down at all in any of these fights, so he can get away with it, especially with his BKB. One offensive item, one defensive item. It's really good versus the Ember Spirit too.
Bottom lane, goodbye Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah.
Easy and successful smoke. Meanwhile, Freeze is being pushed out of the top lane. You just want to farm it up a little bit. Man, Casey does so much damage with that Abaddon. Freeze is forced to TP himself away to safety. RTK is in the neighborhood.
One thing I will say about Kezu, he really does play for the team.
Relocate. The coming up after Fenrir is just not a fun day to be a VG.J support.
More deaths. More track gold.
Puppy's just setting up for it so easily. The IO and the bounty together. A very scary global accommodation with these deaths continuously happening for VG.J. They just can't come out, so Team Secret, they're happy for it. Raise down the wave, forcing the tier 2 tower. And VG.J are in no position to fight yet. They still need to get the Blink Dagger over on Freeze. He stopped after getting the Veil to pick up the BTs.
I'm trying to think about how VG.J get back into this. Their lineup was built around 5 manning, but their window has been like this for quite
Nice
some
slide
time.
of fist, perfect Searing Chains MP. He could actually get the combination over on Freeze, but Freeze needs to get out of here. His BTs are off cooldown, and there's the Spirit Jump, but he's right on top of mid one. Another Spirit Jump back to where his tier 2 tower used to be. But this has been good delay from VG.J. That Aegis Immortal is going to time out in about 30 seconds time. So they've managed to avoid the fight during the Aegis timing.
It's not good though if you're needing to avoid fights, and eventually they are going to have to fight. And I think the team fight items are coming out of plenty.
I'm still looking at RTK to have his big team fight items. You could see as how effective that Guardian Angel was in the mid lane before.
Well,
now he's running his Hand of Midas. He's trying to catch back up again. With the plus 60 gold per minute, it's all about the holler for RTK.
There's no good team fight items that he can really get though. Like he doesn't have Arcane, so he can't go for Greaves. I guess he could get a mech, but it would be like super late. And
well, the last time he did, he got Pipe and Shivas.
Pipe is not very good versus the lineup. Shivas is decent, I suppose, but I don't know if you want to get that as your third item. It is pretty good versus the CK, but I don't think he really wants to be the one running in there. Like his earlier skill build and item build suggests that he did, but when it comes later into the game, when Shadow Fiend hits really hard, I don't think he can tank it even with the armor build. And the Orchid is completed up on Shadow Fiend, so now they have. He doesn't have a mobility item, but he still can catch the Omni Knight if he's out of position. Prevent defensive swaps if he finds the
Don't think you want to do this, FY. Oh, that's what he wants to do. He stuns to take the range creep and then TP's out.
They're stalling for Luna to get really big.
Yeah. But, man, I'm looking at Keizu, and Keizu could probably tank most of this in the future. Like Aghanim's Vlad Solar Crest.
Yeah, he definitely can.
They already can't kill him.
He's really good versus Luna, and he has the right items to just run in there and not care. Unlike ROTK, who has a more solo-oriented build.
And he's always going to have friends. Relocate in with a CK. Keizu is never alone. That's why this two-man push onto the bottom tower is just so effective. VG.J knows they cannot fight this.
They can attempt to sneak a Roach, I think. If they build a medallion on one of their heroes with the VS aura, I think if they can catch Secret split pushing, they can trade a Roach for it. But first step is to take these towers down, and I don't think this
Here
one's
comes the
gonna die.
TPs. Mid one's to the front lines. FY is already forced to run away.
They see mid one, they just leave. They're like, no, no.
I think was that RTK TPing down? I think it was. And he actually ends up cancelling it. He was headed down to the bottom shrine. And so they just leave the space for aggressive. More levels up for him. Still approaching the BKB. And until he's got that, it doesn't look like he wants to have any engagement at all. And the Ember Spirit's just moved off having the Blink Dagger. It's all about the Lincoln Sphere. Full protection for him now. Perfect Observe Ward watching aggressive farming up top lane. However, that silence being released over on Freeze. RTK will break him free. Mid one, they're focusing on the Ire. They need him to go down in order then to kill off that BK beat up Shadow Fiend. They're able to achieve it. But they lose the Luna in return. And that was Team Secret actually being forced into 2 different engagements. They used the Observe Ward watching the Dire Ancients. Or near the Ancients to farm, to try and get the kill.
Yeah, that was actually a difficult play by Secret. They saw the free Luna kill, but if they go for the Luna kill, they actually can't win the fight on top. At least they didn't lose the mid one. I do like how he wasn't very greedy with his right click. Like, he didn't see any heroes in sight, but he knows that he just needs to not die in that fight. Is pretty much what needs to happen for him right there.
Oh, Poppy. He's got a Yule Scepter, cancels the TP out, the Orchid's down, and there's no Spirit to jump out to. Mid one with a raise. Ends up killing off Freeze. All Freeze wanted to do was add a little bit of pressure to the top lane. And now they're going to be scared. Roshan potentially can spawn up, and this will be in their minds. But they'll have to wait a little bit longer. Just over a minute before Roshan is alive.
You know it's an issue when Shadow Fiend has done more magic damage than the Ember Spirit. It's actually something that really doesn't happen very often at all. Especially when he goes for a Veil build super early. And yeah, Ember Spirit is just not going to be very useful. He doesn't have any AoE to deal with the CK illusions too. CK's getting pretty fat right now. He's going to have Heart pretty soon, whereas you're just going to have a Linken's on your Ember Spirit, which is just like no damage, no Maelstrom, no Battle Fury, and his magic damage is
The relocate. There goes your Crystal Maiden. Fenrir in trouble again, Poppy being the man to set up for it. Kezu being in the neighborhood. And F1 and Aggressive can't really do much to stop this. There's sentry warding everywhere on the southern part of the map, but it won't matter when Team Secret break your base. They're going into the high ground. There's your swap back out again, trying to save the Omni Knight. He did get silenced up, and thanks to this, maybe now there's some rebuttal. MP just being a Photic shielded up. They can't even stun and control. So Team Secret do heavy damage to the tier 3 tower. They can back up, however. The line's being drawn. Roshan did just respawn.
Yeah, they can easily take a
Oh,
fight
wow,
right
that's
now.
TP? No.
Their ulti's back up on MP. So, and an Arcane Rune. I wonder who they're going to give that to. I guess maybe CK for 2 ultis? I think having the second ulti is going to be really nice for pushing high ground.
They give it to the Abaddon?
Yeah, I guess Abba's okay too. Depends on what they want to do. I think Abba's is way better for the team fight, and CK's is way better for actually sieging the base.
Notice how VG.J are doing nothing to try and contest this. Fenrir is trying to leech experience up on the top. RTK pushes at the bottom. They know the fight's going to come to mid, and again, they'll just have to have like better positioning, better control if they're going to survive this. And Freeze just needs a little bit more money. Poppy's able to find him once again. With both Yules as well as the Shuriken toss, it's so easy for him to interrupt Freeze doing what he's doing. And in fact, now he's going to go on RTK. Quick Yules up, then repel, TP out. RTK will have the life to survive this. No more stuns to hurt him and relocate down.
Still a nice attempt by them. Still no way, and I don't think they're ever really going to have a way to stop
Is this Freeze with the confidence?
He's making plays at creating space, but still his upside for his team fight is quite limited. They see mid one, but
Yeah, they're going to try and kill him off. Aggressive, able to get the initial stun, but they just don't know.
bro, he has Aegis.
Yeah. The committal for
That's
that
one of
doesn't
those
seem
you're
to
like,
be good.
we can't do this guy.
And now MP actually wants to go on Freeze. Perfect sleight of fist here in chain, so he'll get away.
I still like their plan of let's see SF run away.
It is the cheapest guard for RTK. He just completes it now.
Yeah, that's really nice in combination with repel. Maybe he can run in, but I think it will limit a lot of the damage from the CK. Maybe not as much from the Shadow Fiend because he has a lot more attack speed at this point.
Oh, Freeze, be careful. He's going into the middle of 4 heroes from Team Secret. Lincoln's will trigger. Yule's Scepter up into the air, a quick sleight of fist, and then Spirit back to his tier 3 tower. But reveals the position of Team Secret as the small advantage.
Mid one looks like he wants to push high ground, but his team is not really that close. Creep wave is coming in, just a few more seconds that he needs to wait. I think they have everything that they need. They have Aegis primarily, and the Solar Crest, and Vlad's, and a really, really fat Shadow Fiend.
But getting all the way in is so difficult, especially when aggressive can be babysitted by RTK. Mobs up the wave pretty quickly. Ember Spirit's still not involved in this. He's pushing in the top lane. He's trying to finally finish off that tier 1 tower.
He doesn't have enough. He doesn't have any wave clear. Like, his Sleight of Fist doesn't do any damage because he doesn't have Maelstrom. So he doesn't actually need to be here for the wave defense. I guess he can stall with Slight and Chains, but it doesn't really work versus that Abba. And mid one's going to have to deal with this, like, repel and
Here we go again.
spam.
MP jumping in, looking for that initiation. 3-second stun. Vengeful Spirit has to swap RTK back out. He will survive. They don't have a shrine to help him out, but the tier 3 tower falls. Freeze now here in the fight. Another quick jump, but the Sleight of Fist, searing chains. MP just cannot get his combination off on the Ember Spirit, but what they can do is leave the Immortal one. Mid one with the Aegis, beating into the range racks. They get the fortification out as well. Another quick victory here for Team Secret.
They're actually limited by Kezu's mana pool. They can probably just tether him up if they want to, but with the T3 down, easy shrines, I think they have enough time with the Aegis to even venture further into the dire base.
That's enough for Kezu to actually buy up the full Ags now too. Is this now VG.J? They've moved out just down to their southern shrine. They're not really going to find anyone to kill off. It's just, again, more pressure, push out, control as much as you can, and get as much resources in before Team Secret try and siege you once more. Get aggressive, closer towards that butterfly.
I don't think it's going to happen in time.
Butterfly before they push again?
Yep.
Nah, I don't disagree.
ROTK is playing like an ABBA. Once I think about it, he's playing, he's like, I wanted ABBA, but I'm just going to have to suffice for Omni Knight. He likes being up there. The typical Omni Knight playstyle is like getting Aether Lens and sitting way in the back and buffing at one of your other cores.
Aggressive, don't show yourself if you want to survive through this FY. SF's going to raise down the wave.
At least he has BKB TP. They don't have any instant disable, so he is very, very safe. But only like a minute and a half left on this Aegis. Actually, it's less than a minute.
In towards the mid. Fenrir, more trouble for him. Poppy sets up. Pilot Eye and MP just wander in, and now there's no Crystal Maiden. And mid one's making his way towards the mid. For the bigger support I'm watching out for, it's FY. How many times does he have to defensively swap as opposed to aggressively swap? Blink Dagger is now
pretty much
up for
every
the
time.
Ember too. It's just a sad thing, right? Because like the only way they really top Team Secret is by getting a kill on either the SF or the Chaos Knight, and the only way to do that is by dragging him out of range of the Abaddon.
Yeah, but SF has BKB, so you can't really go on him. And Chaos Knight also has
Aegis
BKB.
just timed out the jump forward, aggressive, able to get that BKB off with the 2-second stun onto RTK. There's that swap again from FY, pulling back the Omni Knight. They have to trigger up the shrine, but the force is in there from Team Secret, looking to push into the melee racks. RTK just goes in, 3-second stun on him, aggressive. The damage output is not too bad, but then again, it's just not enough. Team Secret is so far ahead in this game. They just don't have the power. A quick push in. It's actually mid one going for it with his Hurricane Pike, trying to kill off FY. One more attack will do the job. More bounty rolling his way, and with the relocate out, they don't even get the kill on that front. It's RTK stunned up, an ultra kill for mid one. He just reset, repushed, and rampaging through everything VG.J offers. Will it be a double? No, it won't. MP will take it on a B-stick of life, and they're going for the GG push, and rightly so. VG.J have nothing left in the tank to defend that.
MMR wins games. Mid one. Jeez. Got first blood and just came right back and killed him after second kill. But I mean, he didn't have an easy time. He didn't have a West babysitting him. He didn't have that many stacks for himself. But look at him. Oh yeah, I destroyed that game.
Just another day at the office, you know.